I'll never forget the day Karen decided to play hero and took my entire farm down with her. I was just minding my business, feeding hay to a newborn calf in the barn, like I did every morning. One minute, I was doing what I loved, and the next, I was staring in disbelief at the smoldering wreck of my tractor, the very lifeblood of my operation. And there she was, standing in front of it, crowbar in hand, looking like a VY lane out of a bad action movie, grinning and shrieking about SAVYing the town from agricultural terrorism. Karen hadn't just damaged a machine. She'd taken out a whole town's food supply in the blink of an eye. My tractor wasn't some toy or just a work vehicle. It was custom-built, high efficiency, the backbone of everything I did. Without it, there was no way I could run irrigation, prep fields, or get the crops in on time. And without the crops, there was no food for the school, the hospital, or even the grocery stores. Karen didn't just break my tractor, she'd broken the entire cycle that fed this community. It wasn't the first time Karen and I had crossed paths. You see, I live on the outskirts of this quiet little town, on the edge of the HOA's reach, just far enough to escape their prying eyes, but close enough that I could hear their gossip through the thin, white fences they loved so much. My farm isn't just some weekend hobby, like people might think. This is my livelihood. I run a small family farm that supplies fresh, healthy produce to schools, senior centers, hospitals, grocery stores. The whole town depends on me. And to Karen? Well, I was just the guy who dared to start his tractor before 7 a.m. She had already made a few attempts to cause trouble for me. Complaints about my cows wandering into HOA common areas. They didn't. Cease and desist letters with fake stamps. The occasional passive-aggressive scowl as I waved from the tractor. But when she went to the zoning office, they laughed her right out. She wasn't about to let it go, though. No, Karen was the kind of person who thought her VYEW of the world was everyone else's VYU, especially if it meant making life easier for her. The tipping point came when she tried to circulate a petition, claiming I was polluting the air with excessive tractor noise. She'd even added fake decibel readings and a Photoshop picture of my tractor spewing smoke like it was an old steam engine. The petition got nowhere. The town ignored her, and I had a good laugh about it. But she didn't stop there. A few neighbors mentioned that Karen had been asking about legal noise abatement claims and had even contacted the county about zoning issues with my farm. I brushed it off. Figured it was just Karen being Karen. Big mistake. That Tuesday morning, the day everything went up in flames, started just like any other. I had just finished loading fresh greens for the hospital when I heard the unmistakable sound of a golf cart crashing through my perimeter fence. I turned around, only to see Karen, crowbar in hand, standing next to my tractor, proudly claiming that she'd saved the neighborhood from rural noise pollution. I ran toward her, shouting for her to stop, but by the time I reached her, it was too late. My tractor was ruined. She'd gone too far this time. I didn't even know what to say. I was so angry. She had just destroyed my livelihood for the sake of some quiet mornings. And what did she think she was going to accomplish? She didn't even know what she had just done. The worst part? She thought she was the hero. She smiled like she had won some grand VY Tory. The cops arrived shortly after, called by someone in the HOA, claiming I had trapped Karen in the barn. Karen, of course, handed them a pile of fake documents, stating she had the legal right to intervene in the name of peace and quiet. The officers didn't arrest her, though I asked if we could press charges for property destruction. They told me I'd have to take that up in CIVYL court. I was furious, but Karen smirked and walked away, as if she had just scored a huge win. I didn't realize how badly this was going to impact the community until later that afternoon. The school called, asking where the produce delivery was. The hospital called, the nutritionist on the line, desperate for their greens. Grocery stores were on the phone too, asking about the delay in supplies. My mind was racing as I explained what had happened, but I could hear the panic in their voices. This wasn't just a broken tractor, this was a broken system. The entire town depended on what I grew, and Karen had just cut off the artery that fed them. By sunset, my phone was blowing up. Local restaurants, the hospital, the mayor's office, they were all scrambling to figure out what happened. The chain reaction of Karen's actions was unfolding faster than I could process. That's when it hit me. Karen hadn't just cost me money. She'd broken something far more important. She had destroyed something that the entire town depended on, and she still thought she was the hero. The next morning, I stood in the wreckage of my barn, staring at the ashes of my tractor. The town was calling again, school, hospitals, grocery stores, everyone in a panic. I didn't even have my coffee yet. I felt like I was suffocating, staring at the ruins of everything I worked for. What could I do? I needed a solution. I didn't need sympathy. I needed a working tractor. So I called everyone I knew, every farmer within a 50-mile radius. Some were sympathetic, some were outraged, but none of them could help. It was peak season, and every tractor was tied up with planting or harvesting. The best offer I got was from a farmer in Pine Bluff, who had an ancient diesel unit, but I'd have to drive 3 hours to get it and bring my own fuel. Not ideal, but it was something. Then came the email. One of my friends in town planning forwarded a video link from Karen's HOA site. I clicked it and saw Karen in front of her house, proudly claiming that her actions had saved the neighborhood from my tractor's noise. But then she dropped the bomb. She filed an official complaint with the State Noise Regulation Board, complete with fake evidence, including a petition that she claimed was signed by multiple neighbors. She was trying to have my land taken over by the HOA. She wasn't just upset about noise, she was trying to take my farm, and I hadn't even seen it coming. I knew then that I had to fight back, and I needed more than just a tractor to do it. I called my grandfather, Earl. He wasn't much for anything these days other than poker and brewing questionable apple cider, but he always knew how to get things done. And 2 hours later, Earl showed up with Big Girl, an old, rusted beast of a tractor that would never replace my custom-built machine, but it would buy me time. While we worked to get Big Girl running, Karen's legal moves were already in motion. She had filed for zoning intervention, hoping to take control of my farm through legal channels. But what she didn't know was that I had something she didn't expect, evidence, and it was about to turn the tables. Later that night, I got a motion alert from the security cameras. There were 2 figures sneaking around my fence line, planting strange devices in the ground. I watched, stunned, as Karen's nephew Cody planted what looked like fake noise sensors. I didn't hesitate. I downloaded the footage, backed it up, and took it straight to the mayor's office. The mayor watched the video in silence, then turned to me and said, "This is criminal trespass. We're going on offense." The investigation picked up steam quickly. The mayor organized a team to sweep the area for more devices, and they found 3 more fake sensors planted around the HOA's border. The investigation led to even more incriminating evidence, including a leaked email thread showing Karen's plans to seize my land. It was all falling apart for her. By Friday, Karen's video had gone viral in the town. People started showing up to help, offering manpower, supplies, and support. It was a complete turnaround. The community was rallying behind me not just because of what Karen had done, but because they saw the value of my farm and what was at stake. The support I got from local businesses, farmers, and even the school district was overwhelming. But Karen wasn't done. She filed a lawsuit against me, claiming that the farmers market we organized had caused her emotional distress. I couldn't believe it. The absurdity was off the charts, but I knew she was trying to drag this out, hoping to wear me down. That's when I knew I had to hit back harder. I had evidence now. I wasn't just defending my farm, I was defending the community. With the legal battle underway, I kept working the fields, and things started to improve. We even got a GoFundMe campaign going. People were donating from all over the town. It wasn't just about money. It was about community. People came together to support something that mattered. By the time I got a call from the state senator asking me to testify about my case, I knew this wasn't just about a broken tractor. This was about a system that could let someone like Karen manipulate laws to destroy livelihoods. The legislation passed, and it had my name on it, Jake Amendment. I couldn't believe it. But Karen's final attempt came when she was caught on camera dumping sugar into the fuel tank of my new tractor. And yes, you guessed it, got caught red-handed, literally. Her excuse? She thought it was a compost additive. No one bought it, not the sheriff, not the town, and certainly not her lawyer, who dropped her as a client after seeing the footage. Karen was arrested. She faced criminal charges for trespassing and mischief, and her HOA membership was revoked. The community had spoken, and Karen's reign was over. That was the beginning of a new chapter. The town came together for Farmer Appreciation Day, and I was handed the key to the city. It wasn't just a key, it was a symbol of everything we'd fought for. And when Karen tried to start over in another town, we weren't worried. We had each other. The war wasn't over, but the tide had turned. And if Karen thought she could come back from this, She was about to find out just how loud a community can get when it stands together. What do you think? Was this all just about noise, or did Karen have a deeper motive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you think justice was served, hit that like button. This community is stronger than any HOA.